Testing, testing. All right, greetings, greetings. Can you hear me? Greetings, greetings. Hey, peace, MAG 11, Magi 11. Greetings. I see it says you from California. I hope you're doing well in your space and time. So we're gonna have a conversation here about this is kind of straight random. I had a bit of free time here at the Meta Center, so we're gonna get into growing some very large plants. So bear with me real quick here. Let's see if anybody else joins us. Hey, what's up, Miguel? Okay, I didn't know that was you. All right. But we're gonna get into growing some very large plants. Okay. This has been a experiment, you could say a project that's been kind of in the background for a little while now. Okay, so it's about that time, and I'm not going to take a lot of your time today because, of course, our time is valuable, right? We only got 1440. So I'm going to share my screen here in a moment as well. So, all right, let me make sure everything is showing properly. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. We have here at the Meta Center behind me, right here, is what is called a peace lily. Okay, a peace lily. And I'm going to share my screen here so we can learn about how large a peace lily actually gets. And so, this is going to be a fun experiment that many of you will be able to do at home as well. And so I'm going to get into that here in a moment here. Let me see here. All right. So, okay. So you should see the screen there. Okay. And so this is getting into how to grow and care for a peace lily. Okay. So the plant behind me over here to my right is a peace lily. And it did have the white blossom or bloom at the top. Okay. But it does die off after a period of time. So typically, this plant gets indoors 1 to 4 feet tall, outdoors around 6 feet tall. Now, here at the Meta Center, of course, we have all these frequencies going on. The air in here is filtered. We water with alkaline water. So there's some very specific things that we do to the plants that we have here. And so because of that, they grow a little bit larger just in general. And so let's measure this plant right now. One moment. Okay, everyone. So let's take the time to measure this real quick. It is about it's almost 3 feet wide and about 30 inches high. Okay, so 3 feet wide by 30 inches high. And so what we're going to try to do, safely for the plant, we don't want to harm the plant, but we're going to try to get this plant to be, it says outdoors, 6 feet tall. Okay, a 6 feet tall plant, peace lily plant in here would be huge, right? So we're going to aim for that. And then once we reach that goal, we're going to aim for even larger. Okay, so almost 3 feet wide by writing this down for notes so we can have this for the future, because this is going to be a community project that we could do together. We're going to be introducing microorganisms to the soil and also some more esoteric like techniques and to allow this plant to grow much larger than what it typically would. So, all right, and so that's 30 inches high. Okay, all right. So everything, some may ask, like, what does that have to do with us though? Because people are awakening. And so everything is in relation to everything else, right? Everything is connected in this space. Everything here has some relation to the next thing, right? So of course, at the very basic premise of this, we could say that we eat plants, right? We eat fruit, we eat vegetables, and so on and so forth. So we are connected to them, at least in that way. But in using certain techniques that we'll be learning together in doing, and some of these techniques we've been doing here at the Meta Center for quite some time, we're going to learn how some of these techniques relate to the human body and those things we could do to the human body to maybe even shorten our telomere. Um, so your telomeres, let me show you a screenshot here. All right, so instead of me, since I'm on the computer, and you all be able to see. So I'm going to share my screen here again in a moment. And let's talk about telomeres. Let's talk about the vertebrae, for example. And when it comes to the light or lightning that some experience when they reach a certain state of being. So of course, you see here me drinking my favorite beverage of choice. I have some, this is some oolong tea here. All right, so I'm about to share a few screenshots here. All right, so I'm about to share my screen. And of course, I cannot see who's joining us right now. So shout out to anybody who is watching at this time. All right, so I'm about to share my screen here. All right, so this is your telomeres here, okay? And so think of it, the red ends, okay? Those are your telomeres. And over time, at least this is what science says, right? So over time, as we age, these shorten, okay? And these are also responsible for division, okay? How much a cell will divide. So of course, you want ideally your telomeres to stay as young, like this is a young telomere, okay? So stay as young as possible, because this also is in relation to the longevity of a person, okay? So at least that's what they say anyway, right? So there's a few things that happen with us. We suspect that due to medical trauma, many of you have watched the Soul's Doorway class, okay? And so we talked about different types of trauma. Most of it was focused on the mental trauma and physical trauma, but of course, in there you learn about medical trauma. And so we suspect that some of these processes that are due to medical trauma are either distorting the telomere dividing sequences, okay, or prematurely shortening the telomeres so that people end up leaving here sooner than what they should. Also, we suspect that when it comes to the neurons, right, you see it's kind of look like an antenna in a way, okay? Here, the dendrites, okay, these are what are like, think of these like the antennas itself on the neuron that are responsible for receiving signals, okay, maybe even transmitting signals as well, but receiving and transmitting signals, we could say. All right, so these are responsible for that, okay? And so with that, you want both operating exactly as they should, right? So we suspect due to medical trauma that the dendrites actually fold in and or become separated entirely, okay? So which means that your neurons are not firing properly or as they should, okay? So in our learning of our, as we take the time to learn how to grow a plant much larger than, than what some would think is possible, we're actually going to be learning also about how our body works and our cells and so on and so forth, because again, everything is related. Some people, some of you, let's go into this is the vertebrae here, okay, and there's 33 vertebrae. And so I'm going to show you something here as well. Okay, I had to stop the share here. And I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see here. All right, so now I'm sharing my screen again here. And what I want to share with you is the video from yesterday. Some of you may have seen this. This is the unboxing of the huge Tibetan bowl. So on yesterday at the Meta Center, we received the Tibetan bowl that came directly from a monastery in the Himalayas, which is Tibet. Okay, that's where Tibet is located. And so we finally received it. And you see the brother in the picture, he's standing in it. I stood in it as well. It's most definitely a very interesting experience. Okay, so if you haven't seen that video, you should see it. And if you haven't, you should make your way out to the Meta Center to experience some of these technologies, right? But okay, so we have our vertebrae. Let's go back to the vertebrae here. All right. All right, so you have our vertebrae here. It's 33 of them, right? And so in this, let's just put it like this, right? So there's in some esoteric circles, they talk about the seminal fluid. And when a man does not ejaculate over time through meditation as well, it's not just not ejaculating, it's also through certain very specific practices and exercises. The seminal fluid will travel up to 33 vertebrae, and then we'll get to the base of the, of the head, spinal area there, which in turn, once it breaks through the doorway, will lead to an implosion, explosion, right? Which leads to even someone could say or is enlightenment. Okay. The portion what's going on here is actually, let me share my screen again. A portion of what's going on there is actually what is happening externally around us in other ways. I don't have that image with me, unfortunately, but it's an image that shows the light or the electricity, okay, or the lightning that comes from the base up to the bottom, the top of the spinal column, okay, which is the base of the skull, and then from that point, how it ignites the brain, okay, and this leads to what some would say enlightenment, but also what some suspect will lead to one being able to go to the next level within themselves and through the beyond. Okay. So with that, when you stand in a bowl like the Tibetan bowl, okay, again, this is all related. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. Hopefully you follow me here. All right. So again, this was spare of the moment. So I don't have any notes. I'm kind of going just off the cuff here. But we're going back to the image here of the brother here in the bowl. And so as the vibrations, because you feel the vibrations throughout your entire body. Okay. You feel it from your feet to your fingertips. Okay. So you feel it, but the base, most of where you feel it at least where I felt it at, was mostly in between the bottom of the spine and the top. Okay. I felt it there mainly myself. You want to stand up straight. Okay. You don't want to be, have your back, bad posture. You don't want that. And so you feel it there. And so this is, you can say in a way, especially those who participate, which I'm sure many of you do in meditation and so forth, you will find that um, you will find that certain processes could be expedited. Just let me put it like that. Okay. And so again, this is a fantastic tool that many of you should experience. All right. So anyhow, let's go back to the peace lily plant. All right. So again, we're going to be, where is it at here? Okay. So here it is here. Right. So going back to the peace lily, indoors, they grow between 1 and 4 feet tall, 6 feet tall outdoors. We believe by, again, introducing certain types of microorganisms and using, of course, alkaline water and hitting them with certain frequencies. Of course, many of you know last year I was working on some very specific frequencies that help plant growth, at least discovering what ones work and what ones don't do anything at all. And so introducing all of this as well as some very interesting techniques, right? So here, okay. Okay, so what you see in my hand here, this is a bamboo stick, okay? And with this bamboo stick, some of you may have seen some videos online of people wrapping coil around a stick like this, okay? There is truth to that, right? And the premise is that the coil, you'll wrap the coil, which we're gonna do it, on video so you all can see how this is done. But you wrap the coil from the top to the bottom. You insert this into the soil, okay? Ideally, they don't really say in the videos because, of course, people are experimenting. People are not sure what to do, right? In our experimentation, it seems that you really want this to go down about the length of the root system, okay? And so this is going up into the air or into the aether, right? And it's supposed to be collecting the ether, okay? That's AETHER, right? So aether. It's supposed to be collecting that and bringing it down, which is supposed to help to expedite plant growth, okay? And there's some truth to that. All right. And so we're going to be doing that as well. And again, I'm going to show you how to do it so there's no confusion whatsoever. And then on top of that, some introduce what's called electricity. Okay, electricity is what runs this universe that we're in. Okay, we are like in, you can say, a battery. Okay, we have the waters above and waters below. You can say if you all know how a battery works, okay, you got the waters above and waters below, and in this space that we're in, we're creating the energy of this universal flow. All right. That's why there's more than enough, knowing this, there's more than enough energy here in this space to not only live lives of abundance, but live lives of creativity that are beyond many of our imaginations. And so when you introduce, so you got the coil around here, right? That's going into the soil. And then when you introduce a battery to it, okay, so a 9-volt battery that's hooked to the coil, it's hooked a certain way. Again, I'm going to show you all this, okay? But it's hooked a certain way to the coil and it's giving off impulses, okay? And these impulses, again, electricity runs this space, okay? And in harnessing these electronic, or not electronic, but these electric impulses, okay, it spurs plant growth. Let's just put it like that. Okay. So in combining microorganisms with frequencies, with the antenna gathering aether to hooking, so allowing electric impulses to it as well, we are able to create or have a plant that is maybe 2 to 3 to 4, maybe 10 times the size that it should be. So with that, yeah, so we're going to get into this. So look forward to videos. Here at the Meta Center, I had some spare time. A client had to reschedule. So it left me with about 2 hours of open time here to kind of mess around. Okay. And I love having that time to do that and do some research and stuff. So with that, it's going to be, I'm not going to say a very specific schedule for now, but it's going to be, videos are going to be posted. Okay. So if there are any questions at that time, of course, you can let me know. You can put them up in the, send me an email, give me a call, let me know what's on your mind. If that's the case, any ideas that you may have, okay, that you may want to see on camera implemented and everything else. So with that, that's it for now. Everyone have a most definitely a wonderful, relaxing day. And we are phone call away. Also, just last moment here, we extended because we got a few calls about it, ended up extending the Black Friday coupon till this Friday. Okay. So if you have not taken advantage of that or you still want to take advantage, let me see something here. Uh, yeah, the code is still 1111. All right. And let's see here. You should be able to see it now. All right, there it is now. So the code is still 1111. It's been extended until this Friday. It gives you 21% off plus free shipping on any size order. As many of you know, we don't do this high up a coupon much. So I would take advantage of that if you are interested in anything on our website. So with that being said, I will talk to many of y'all soon. Take care. We are phone call away if needed.